Greetings, one and all. Greetings, wonderful awakening souls. This is the appointed time. Thank you for joining us on today's live. Today is part 2 of the extension, or part 2 of us going through the subject of astrology and astronomy, the luminaries. This subject will be headed and conducted, or this lesson will be headed and conducted by Mr. Ghost. So we will be okay. So let me just add Mr. Ghost to the live so he can start the lesson. How has your guys' night been so far? I'm actually sitting right in front of my window open with the curtains completely open because I love watching lightning storms. Who here loves to watch the sky when there's thunder and lightning? It's such a fascinating sight, really. It's poetry. It's art, and watching the clouds move, it's fascinating. It's so entertaining. You don't even need to watch TV. It's just like, oh, what's happening? What shape is this cloud making at night? And they kind of stand out a little bit more. So yeah, that's what I'm up to right now. Just checking out the sky. So Mr. Ghost, I'm just waiting for your invite to appear. I wonder how do you invite someone, guys? I'm just interesting. There we go. There we go. All right, perfect. Thank you. I was completely lost. All right. So yeah, we are ready for the lesson. I'm just waiting for him to kind of step in. Are you ready, Mr. Ghost?
Hi, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, take it
Thank
away.
you.
Take it away.
How's everyone?
Sorry, I muted you
Fine.
by mistake. Continue. Hi, Doomy.
Yes, I was saying grand evening. I was saying grand evening to everyone. Um, I hope everyone is having a lovely night and they had a lovely day. So, yeah, we're in the middle of our month, so it's been a while since we touched upon um our teachings here on TikTok. So yesterday we couldn't make it. So yeah, today we're gonna be continuing with our first section, astronomy and astrology. But we're gonna be doing the second module the second module. So the second module, it speaks about how the kingdom is spread upon the earth. It speaks about how the kingdom is spread upon the earth. So there's a saying that says the kingdom of the Father is spread upon the earth and men do not see it. So basically, I'm gonna be touching on astronomy and astrology with regards to how the kingdom is spread upon the earth. Can I have a few minutes? I'm back. Thank you for your patience. How the kingdom is spread across the earth. Yes. So astronomy and astrology. Yes. So okay. Yes. I said there's a code that says the kingdom of the Father is spread upon the earth and men do not see it. So in this module we're gonna learn about that. Basically we're gonna be learning about the sky as a place. I mean, like, the sky is not a place that you escape to, but it's gonna be about a cosmic order embodied. I mean, cosmic order embedded into the living earth and human being, you know. So the alignment of the living earth and the human being, the cosmic order, you know. So in this module, we're gonna be talking about that heaven is not a location, We're gonna be talking about heaven as a state of alignment. We're also gonna touch on the cosmos, the cosmos as something that is not distant, but something that is very local, to our eyes, the layers and the eminent. So what I'm basically saying in other words here is that earth itself, it's a cosmic temple, and then that the human is the altar, and we have gods, we have gods and we have ancestors, I know that, but here we talk about the luminaries as the regulators, as systemically we have to follow the luminaries, their circulations and the systemic order when it comes to the constellations, with regards to the seasons and seasonal changes, the solstices, the equinox, you know, those those are regulators of the luminaries. So we're gonna talk about Earth itself as a cosmic temple and human as an altar, and luminaries are the regulators. So this is basically why our ancestors studied and practiced astronomy and astrology on Earth, not for escape, but for timing, order, and consciousness calibration. They didn't need spaceships and unknown flying objects, to go out there to find out about these things. They could see it from the ground, from the living earth. So just a moment of silence a bit. So what I'm basically saying here, it means the system is not linear, is not is non-hierarchical, when it comes to like observance and when it comes to like spirituality and consciousness, because we all come from the same source basically. So it's not really hierarchical. Yeah, sorry about that. So, and it's not about escaping, it's about remembering, as I already said. So, what I'm trying to say here is that Earth is more like a plane of manifestation. It's basically not a prison by default, and not spinning by accident, as other people say it's spinning. It's not spinning by accident. This is a field where the kingdom is already present, because the heavens are not a space, but it's more like a layer of law, rhythm, and intelligence that you have to like remember and master about yourself. And then, as I already mentioned, that the luminaries, they are not just like burning gas balls, they are regulators of time, consciousness, and memory, because they've been here for ages, who knows how long, so there's memory encoded in the luminaries. When I talk about the luminaries, I'm talking about the sun and the moon, and the constellations, basically the stars that make up the constellations. And yeah, so hence why like ancient astronomy was used for priestlyhood, not for exploration or exploratory. That's more of a like a priestly behavior or tradition, ancient astronomy. So as I mentioned, that the luminaries, they are the regulators of consciousness and memory and time. So with the sun, we spoke about this last because they are part of our local universe, and the sun mostly it it resembles, like they both have systems. The moon and the sun, they have systems, law systems that they work according to. So the sun works according to the law of life, and conscious illumination, and then the moon, it its law of reflection, memory, and cycling. So they are objects. Yeah, they are basically not objects, but they are functions. They are functions. Like not objects per se. Because yeah, no one really went to the moon, and no one can really say they went to the moon or to the sun, but we see them on our daily basis with our own eyes, and you can see that the sun, it's there every day. It's just moving, and it's not something that is out of space. So just want to check the time. I don't want to be too long. So what we do here is that, okay, let me just say the moon, it restricts where we stay. It more like it restricts, it bounds us to the system of Earth, because ancient, it's ancient. It's basically the foundation of astronomy, with the sun, both the moon and the sun and the stars, So in Bantu systems, the moon was not the creator. It wasn't the creator. It wasn't a god or anything. It was not depicted as that. It was basically a timekeeper. A mirror of ancestral rhythm. Because what it does basically, it governs blood, tides, and gestation. Like, I think that means more like menstrual cycles and memory cycles. So it's very associated with the ancestors, and with dreaming and repetition. So what it does is that it does not really generate life. It just modulates it. I don't know how I can modulate. I can say maybe it creates a system, as I mentioned, a system that it's bound to Earth. It recycles, and it causes repetition, and it makes things stay as they are, where they are, so what's happening here is that it's measuring, it's recording, and it's calculating, and it's it's slicing time, as these cycles and repetitions, and they happen as they happen. So and these teachings, they were taught in some of the thought where I think we used to do the thought book here on the live, and it also speaks about how he is the scribe of the cycles, you know. So I think thought the story of thought, the tablets that we used to do also relates a lot to you know what I'm really talking about here when it comes to the kingdom being spread upon earth, you know. So this basically means that it enables endless repetition if misaligned, you know, if misaligned more importantly, because if you are aligned, you are not bound to the system of the matrix, the system of the earth, you know. You become aligned with the cosmic order, and that's how we grow. That's how we grow subconsciously, and we get to be consciously aware, you know. So rituals were used to govern the lunar influence, you know, somehow, cause it bounds souls to earth. It causes repetitions and all these things, and you know, I believe some sort of rituals were used to govern the lunar influence, to influence it, you know, to do something it's not supposed to be doing, you know, using rituals, you know. So basically, what I'm trying to say here, I'm not talking about worshiping it, you know, but there are certain affirmations and influences and you know some sort of energetic spirits that can use rituals, you know, to actually influence the moon, you know. So that's something to be also aware of. So the moon basically it's deeply suspicious, you know, it's a suspicious object. You know, there've been a lot of stories about it, and I think when you speak about the kingdom on earth and how the story relates to the moon, you know, it shows that the moon has something to do with how reincarnation works, you know. As I already mentioned, that it's deeply suspicious, you know. Uh, it's basically associated with lower cosmic rulers. Like there are names like Hebdomed. You know, it has to do, as I already mentioned, with recycling of souls. You know, and memory erasure. You know, it's connected to the system, the calendar. Basically, it's connected to the calendar, and by wiping the calendar, you're wiping memory. So this is what's happening. So basically, it causes re-entry into material cycles. You know, it binds your behavior with the system of the world if you don't become aware of how the moon works or what it modulates. You know, sometimes it also modulates your behavior. You know, when it's full moon and you behave some type of way, or when it's new moon you behave some type of way, like it becomes a memory in your subconsciousness. It becomes a cycle, it becomes a repetition. It's encoded in your system, you know. As I've already mentioned, that rituals were used, to govern it. So you become, you repeat, you become someone who repeats the same kind of behaviors every time, it's certain moon phases, because you encode it to your subconsciousness, to your consciousness, and you depend a lot on the materialistic world, or the matrix. So what I'm saying is that it's a reflective gate, it's a mirror field. It mirrors your behavior, as I mentioned, and it's a loop regulator, So I'm not saying it's evil. I'm just saying it's mechanical. You have to be aware of these things. So there's also a theory about dark matter. So, and dark matter, I think it's very important in this module, because I think it's also something that binds unseen fields. It's invisible, and it's a structuring force. It's not really luminous or a mass of memory. It's just something that's also involved in and within the symbolic frame of what governs the earth. So as something that is invisible, it's reflective. It's sort of like a reflective, I don't know if I can call it matter. Yes, matter. Okay, it's a reflective matter. It's basically, I believe it's basically not the source, but it's a mediator between what we see and what we cannot see, in density. So it's more like it is connected to the source, as we cannot see the source now. So how does it relate to the moon and the sun and everything? So it's more like the moon is the clock face, and dark matter is the clock mechanism. It's more like a mechanism. It, it holds everything together, and it's invisible. We cannot see it. It's more like an invisible structure that's keeping the sun stable, that's keeping the water stable, the firmament and everything. It's because of dark matter. And yeah, I think it's a mediator, is between what we can see and what we cannot see. I'm not saying it's the source, but I'm not saying it's the source. I'm just saying it's connected somehow to the source. So what I'm actually saying is that one reflects and the other one, it binds. Yeah. So so the danger here is not, it's not the moon itself. It's forgetting the kingdom. It's forgetting that the kingdom is already here. Because what happens when you believe that the salvation is up there? And that light is eternal, and that power comes from luminaries. The cycles, they become dominant to awareness and repetition. It replaces liberation, and reflection replaces the direct knowing. So what I basically said here is that danger is not the moon itself, but danger is forgetting that the kingdom is already here. Because when consciousness believe that salvation is up there, or that light is eternal, or that power comes from luminaries, that's when the cycles dominate awareness. Repetition replaces liberation, and reflection replaces knowing. So in short, I'm basically saying that liberation does not come by escaping earth, but by seeing the kingdom within it. I hope that makes sense. So let me just check the time, Okay, think I can cover this in 15 minutes. Yeah, yes, that's true. Conscious, my queen. So okay. So I think there's basically a difference between true astronomy and false astronomy, because for me, I think false astronomy it's becoming obsessed with the skies, and and fears of the cycles, and worship of the luminaries, as I've already mentioned, why. But in my understanding, I think true astronomy is understanding rhythm, using timing wisely, and anchoring awareness, on Earth. So what I'm saying is that the sun and the moon are tools, They are tools, not thrones, like thrones as in like a throne, like Game of Thrones. Yeah. So the sun and the moon are tools, not thrones. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I hope I made sense so far, and everything was understandable, as I will be closing now. So what's basically happening here with concluding everything is that the sun's consciousness act in clarity, and it lives in truth, and it also generates light eternally. And then the moon observes the cycles, but it is not ruled by emotional. What I'm saying, it observes the cycles, but you don't have to be ruled by its emotional loops, or ruled by emotion loops, basically, as I've already mentioned why. So you have to use the moon's reflection, the moon's awareness. You have to use its reflection, without attachment. Because if you become attached to it, to its energy. You become embodied with the system of the matrix, or the system of the world, or the materialistic world. And then earth, is the anchoring body, the sacred anchoring body. The land is the kingdom, definitely. The land is the kingdom. So the earth is anchoring the presence of liberation. So what I'm saying is that the kingdom is not above the moon. The kingdom is not behind the sun. The kingdom is not after death. The kingdom is spread upon the earth, and those who see step out of the loop. So I thank you guys for joining tonight, and thank you for listening this far. And I hope you enjoyed the knowledge, the wisdom. Yes. I think if there's anyone who has questions, or really, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ghost. Thank you so much. That was really, truly enlightening. Yes. So for those who are just coming in right now, we are about to end the lesson and the live. We will be switching this, or we will be transferring this information to YouTube, so that whoever wasn't able to be present for the lesson will be catching the lesson online. Thank you so much, Mr. Ghost. Thank you so much to everybody who attended. Yeah, so any closing statements or comments, questions, queries before we close this live session? Mr. Ghost.
Yes. Hello, you were saying?
No, I'm saying you said you wanted to wrap up. You said you wanted to say something.
Oh, nah. I think I covered everything that I had to say tonight, and yeah,
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, thanks to everyone who's joined. Thanks to everyone who's showing love, and I hope it was a beautiful lecture, and I hope you guys were able to just note something down. That was helpful to you. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody who attended. Good night. Stay blessed in balance, love, and truth.